The bold and the beautiful spoilers tease that Brooke Logan is a woman scorned, and we all know what that means. Sleazy Ridge Forrester has dumped her again, all without proper provocation. What a cad. The bold and the beautiful spoilers, Brooke Logan dumped. For her part, she slapped Ridge and gave her foe Taylor Hayes a push when she found out how low Ridge had gone against her. This changes everything. Brooke thought her and Ridge were couple goals, but the cad has shown himself to be a two-woman man. This week, the crows come home to roost. After physically punishing Ridge, Brooke may take aim at Forrester Creations. She took the CEO role with the thought of getting the company back for Ridge, but now that she's been cheated on, she has different ideas. Good for her. B&B. Bill Spencer comes on to Brooke Logan. On the romance front, Bill Spencer will never get tired of Brooke, even though he was involved with her sister Katie Logan. After being dumped, will Brooke start to look elsewhere? Definitely maybe. She can do a lot worse than Bill Spencer, and Bill would love to enrage Ridge by maybe worming his way into his company. The bold and the beautiful spoilers. Bill Spencer gets what he wants. Tell us, the bold and the beautiful fans, do you want to see Bill Spencer and Brooke Logan rekindle a romance? Some fans think that Spencer has Justin Barber working behind the scenes to get him in. What do you think? Will he have two ins at SC if he gets Brooke on his side too? Justin is trying to get Ridge control back of SC, but let's face it, Bill and Justin have a bromance for the ages. It would not surprise us if Justin and Bill are in cahoots behind the scenes. B&B spoilers. Brooke Logan and Bill Spencer team up. With Bill's money, Justin's sleaziness, and Brooke's anger, we can see the show pitting all three of them against SC and Ridge. Tell us, B&B fans, are you wanting to see Ridge get his comeuppance from a trio of scoundrels? Be sure to catch up on everything happening with B&B right now. Come back here often for the bold and the beautiful spoilers, news, and updates, and make us your favorite hotspot. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Soap Spectrum. I am Emily here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. The bold and the beautiful spoilers and updates tease Steffy Forrester Finnegan is enlisting the talents of renowned perfumer Daphne Rose to reclaim Forrester Creations. Although Steffy believes she's onto a brilliant strategy, could there be an unexpected turn of events in store? The bold and the beautiful spoilers. What if Daphne Rose supports Carter Walton's takeover? What if Daphne secures a position at Forrester Creations and finds herself fully supporting Carter Walton's ambitious takeover? Could Steffy's insider ultimately turn against her? Recent episodes showed Daphne bursting onto the scene at Forrester Creations, her arrival sparking high hopes for a transformative experience. While Carter and Hope Logan were captivated by the enchanting aroma of Daphne's perfume, it left quite an impression. Although Carter had his reservations, he was reluctant to let Daphne slip away. Ultimately, it seems that Daphne is destined to land the account at Forrester Creations. B&B spoilers. Steffy Forrester's scheme. Steffy is manipulating Daphne to create chaos for Carter and Hope, and Daphne has two tasks at hand. Her initial goal is to infiltrate Forrester Creations and gather information. But the good news for her is that she won't be doing it solo, as Steffy intends to make her way back to the office. On the other hand, Ridge Forrester believes they should handle matters through legal channels. Yet, Steffy counters that there isn't sufficient time to take that route. This sets the stage for Daphne's secondary mission. The bold and the beautiful spoilers. Daphne Rose will be after Carter Walton as her new man. Daphne's upcoming storyline hints at her secondary goal of winning over Carter as her new love interest. It seems she's on the lookout for romance, and perhaps a little spark could be her reward for assisting Steffy. However, Daphne's behavior is starting to come across as a bit peculiar. It's hard to tell if she's being playful or if her antics are meant to be alluring. with her tendency to stare blankly and blink instead of responding to straightforward questions, along with her habit of waving a scarf in people's faces. It all feels rather strange. While the scarf may have had a lovely scent, the whole display was undeniably odd. Perhaps this is just part of her unique allure. B&B spoilers. An unexpected betrayal. What if Daphne steps into that world and unexpectedly finds herself falling for Carter? While Daphne and Steffy might assume she's merely toying with his affections, there's the potential for a genuine romance to blossom. Delving deeper, Daphne could very well start to embrace Carter's dreams and aspirations. Imagine the twist if, in the end, Daphne chooses to side with Carter over Steffy. With someone as talented as Daphne in the fragrance industry, has Steffy just played her cards wrong? Be sure to catch up on everything happening with B&B right now. Come back here often for the bold and the beautiful spoilers, news, and updates. While Richard is off on the high seas drinking Métis, your taste and our taste, I've been left to steer this week's bold and beautiful soapbox into port. And although I failed miserably in trying to be more positive when reviewing Young and Restless last week, man, was I harsh. I managed to find a lot to like while evaluating Bold and Beautiful. Read on and see if you were excited by the same encouraging changes that I was. She's a maniac on the floor. So Monday's episode included some serious weirdness. No sooner did Elektra get introduced to boyfriend, Will's dad, than she told Bill the entire story of her ordeal with Remy. On top of that, none of them ever took a seat. They were still on their feet Tuesday, but I'll give that silliness a pass because I thought it was funny that Elektra seemed about as traumatized by what had transpired earlier that very day as I am, when I realized I opened a white wine instead of a red, and it was all to set up Luna's infatuation with Will. Other than all the exposition, even my memory isn't bad enough to need it. Monday's episode was pretty terrific in that it solidified Ridge's role as a supervillain. When Brooke explained the selfless, if senseless, reason that she'd taken the CEO job at Forrester Creations, he was a complete and total bleep to her, hypocritical, holier-than-thou, and altogether slapworthy. So I was thrilled that Brooke got a smack in there before she was done reading him for filth, using his own words against him, and at breakneck speed, too, and wishing him the luck he'd need with Taylor, Eka, your second choice. The best part, though, was when Taylor entered the Forrester mansion as Brooke was exiting. Brooke couldn't even be bothered to hiss at her rival. She just shoved Taylor the hell out of the way and kept right on going. Bravo! Tuesday added icing to the cake as Ridge, Taylor, Steffy, and Eric sat around rehashing what had just transpired, as if Brooke was a pro wrestler who'd put both of her victims in traction. Hilarious. Tuesday's episode poked holes aplenty in Bill's cockamamie scheme to take Luna under his wing. When the world's worst hider made a noise upstairs, Elektra wrote it off as probably having been one of the many servants it surely takes to keep Bill's mansion tidy. Only we never see maids and butlers, gardeners and cooks, so does he have any household staff? And if he does, even if Luna hides every time guests drop by, what's to keep the servants from telling anyone who'll listen that they're suddenly cleaning up after a murderess as well as the boss? Maybe they're used to that after Sheila's stay at the mansion? Bill's long-term plan is also seriously flawed. He intends to have Luna serve out her sentence at his place, meaning what exactly? For the next 20 to life, she'll play hide and please don't seek with busybodies on par with Katie? Good luck with that, bro. This line also gave me pause, reiterating that he and Luna are not and never really were hot for one another. He said, "I looked at you like a daughter, and I still do. I always will." Remarkable commitment, isn't it? Especially coming from a guy who only recently looked at Poppy as a significant other and now would probably struggle to remember her name. Tuesday's episode also introduced what may be my favorite character since General Hospital femme fatale Ava Jerome, Muriel Hilaire's Daphne Rose. Her entrance was great. It felt like an event. And what presence Hilaire has. As the most famous perfumer in Paris, nay, the world, she's gorgeous, poised, aloof, captivating. Sign her to a 100-year contract now, gang. She is a keeper. If Steffy wanted to point a secret weapon at Carter&Hope, she couldn't have done any better than Daphne. I don't do appointments, Rose. I tell you what, too. I was so instantly enamored of Daphne that I am going to refrain from commenting on how tacky of Cope it was to reveal that she had shown up unexpectedly while they were in the middle of a meeting with poor Fanny. I will, however, note that the moment Daphne removed her scarf and waved around her fragrance, while Carter&Hope sniffed in extreme close-ups, was over the top in the very best way. Is bold and beautiful, remembering how to have fun. Wednesday's episode was one big game of who betrayed who, which was to be expected, I suppose. What I didn't expect was that the Forresters would still be clutching their pearls about Brooke's brutish behavior toward Ridge and Taylor. Does Brooke not remember that Taylor had a heart condition? A heart condition. That was unintentional comedy gold. So was Ridge recapping to Taylor, then stopping himself. Why am I telling you this? He asked. You know this already. You could all but hear the entire audience at home go, for the love of God, yes. Yes, we know. Stop it, all of you. On the plus side, the episode gave us a lot more of Daphne, and knock wood, 2 shows in, and bold and beautiful hadn't messed her up. She deliciously toyed with Carter when he called to seal the fragrance deal. You're intrigued by what I have to offer. Who wouldn't be? Extra funny was Hope saying at that very moment, there is no telling what the future will hold. Sweetie, there is telling. And what the future is telling me is that Carter will be, as Daphne predicts, putty in her hands. And why would the world's most respected nose stick that very appendage in someone else's business to seduce a guy who's been insta-committed to someone else? In Daphne's own words, that's just what friends do. I love this woman. I love her so much. I will give you several more pictures of her being chest magnifique. You're welcome. Thursday's episode was, not my favorite, but it did include moments of levity, however unintentional they may have been. I literally ooled when Finn expressed his regret that he'd never gotten to know Steffy's grandmother. Buddy, she would have heard any 3 words out of your purty mouth and asked Steffy how hard she'd had to search to find the biggest dim bulb in the medical profession. Was Dr. Drake Ramaray not available? We can just imagine the queen bee asking. It was also amusing to hear Steffy again detail her plan to whore out Daphne, which doesn't seem to bother my favorite new character at all. Maybe she is blessed with a view of sex that isn't straight out of the 1950s bold and beautiful rulebook. I'd also got a chuckle out of Steffy interrupting Taylor's night of nookie with Ridge to make sure she wasn't coming home. How loud are Steffy and Finn? Sheesh. As for the aforementioned night of nookie, how fortunate was it that the dress Ridge gave Taylor was black? This Taylor seems altogether allergic to color of every kind. Over at Forrester, Hope attempted to buoy Brooke with talk of how Carter had spent untold years dreaming up Forrester's expansion. Untold, because he sure never mentioned it on air. When Hope explained that her boo's grand plan included OMG jewelry, handbags, shoes, all I could think of was the classic Eb Fab line below. Also, how on earth is Hope taking a victory lap because post-coup Forrester Creations is still standing? Hasn't it been like 48 hours? At most 72? That's like me taking credit for losing a pound at 7 a.m. that I'll have gained back before I've even scarfed down my mid-morning snack. Friday's episode, sadly, was a dud. We got exposition on top of exposition on top of exposition. Endless Ridge dancing with Taylor to background music that only we could hear, Steffy and Finn foregoing sex in any of the many rooms at their massive house to do it on the couch where all their guests sit, and Brooke feigning shock that Donna overheard the dressmaker already asking his other occasional wife to move back into the beach house with him. Brooke, you don't get to be even mildly surprised. This is who he is and has always been. And yes, I'll say the same thing to Taylor when a month from now, Ridge dumps her and immediately shacks back up with Brooke. There is something serious wrong with Ridge, but there is also something just as seriously wrong with Brooke and Taylor, who jump through hoops to believe his BS time and time again. At least the end of the episode was exciting, because it included a tease for a plot I thought had been dropped ages ago, that Jack might be Luna's father. Not only do we get Lie raging at Poppy, but we also might end up getting Jack dropping in on Luna at prison, only to discover that she's been what? Misplaced? Maybe he'll be next on the homicidal maniac's hit list. So there you have it. All in all, a pretty solid week of Bold and Beautiful, and one that left me psyched about what's to come. Maybe the show isn't altogether different. I could do with approximately 200% less repetitive dialogue, but the changes that it has made have been arguably for the better/more interesting. Luna's insta-obsession with Will promises to ensure that he and Elektra won't become the snooze that RG and the lunatic did. Despite the perfume she likes to wave about, Daphne is a breath of fresh air. And while Tridge 200.0 is sure to end the same way that pairing always does, hopefully by the time it does, Brooke will have made good on her promise to move on. We've even curated a list of leading men with whom she could throw sparks. In the Forrester mansion, Taylor thanks Ridge for the gown, the last Forrester original. She feels special. Ridge wants her always to feel that way. They canoodle. Taylor tells him how much it means to spend this time with him. Her heart seems to be thriving now, maybe thanks to you. They kiss repeatedly as they sway together. At the Cliff House, Finn tells Steffy he wants to take advantage of the kids being out for the night. They chuckle about Taylor being with Ridge. Steffy hopes they're alone, with zero interference from Brooke. Finn still can't believe her dad moved out. Steffy says Hope's still on the property. Brooke making herself CEO was the final straw and they're over. Brooke has no one to blame but herself. It took a lifetime, but her dad finally realizes who Brooke is. Steffy's relieved her mom is back in town and hopes he'll realize that's who he's meant to be with. Finn says meant to be is a thing. I have proof of it right here. With that, he kisses her. In the Forrester office, Katie finds Brooke burning the midnight oil. She supposes that's what she signed up for in taking the CEO position. She'd rather be working than home alone in that big house without Ridge. Brooke never thought she'd be in this position with Ridge again. She knows he's hurt, but she's hurt too by the way he turned to Taylor so quickly. Katie can't believe that Ridge wasn't thankful that Brooke took the CEO position to try and get the company back into his hands. Brooke knows what Hope did was a mistake, but she can't allow Ridge to speak badly about her all the time, or me. She deserves to be loved by someone always, and that's not him. Katie's so glad she stood up to him. Brooke is too, but admits she slapped him after he said she wasn't part of his family. Katie gawps. Brooke tells her she was also bumped into Taylor. I kind of shoved her out of the way. It wasn't her best moment, but what could she do? Everything she holds dear to her was turned upside down. At the Forrester mansion, Taylor and Ridge continue to slow dance. She tells him it feels like they've come full circle and are where they're supposed to be. Ridge grunts, in each other's arms, you mean? They agree it feels right. Just then, Donna opens the door. Realizing what she's walked in on, she creeps across to the kitchen and hides, peeking out. Ridge tells Taylor they should try and get their beach house back so they can make some more memories there. Taylor's stunned that he wants to move in together. You promised me a night I wouldn't forget. Ridge says the night's not over and leads her to the stairs. Taylor and Ridge kiss as Donna gawps. Ridge takes Taylor upstairs and Donna grimaces. At the Cliff House, Steffy takes a break from making out with Finn to tell him how happy she is with the life they built together. They express their love and resume kissing. The clothes start coming off, and they start making love on the sofa. At Forrester, Brooke rants to Katie about pushing Ridge into Taylor's arms. A call comes in from Donna, who gets put on speaker. Donna tells her sisters that she walked in on Ridge and Taylor. She heard them talking about moving in together into the old beach house. They had a romantic evening together. It's the works. She doesn't think the evening is over. Ridge led Taylor upstairs by the hand. Brooke frowns. To his bedroom? Donna says yes, she's so sorry. Katie holds Brooke as she cries. In Ridge's room at the Forrester mansion, Taylor marvels at the bed, which is covered in red rose petals. Ridge removes her cover up and mutters about making assumptions. She assures him she's ready. He grunts, "So am I. I'm ready to get our life back because I missed you. I missed your honesty and integrity. I've missed us, man. I've always loved you." They kiss passionately and Ridge shrugs out of his jacket. At the Cliff house, after sex, Steffy and Finn cuddle on the sofa. Steffy gets a notification and tells her husband she missed a text from her mom. She learns she's spending the night with her dad and can't believe it's happening. She muses about how good they are together. Brooke is finally out of my dad's life for good. They kiss and canoodle. At Forrester, Brooke can't believe Ridge already wants to move in with Taylor. Katie thinks it could be a misunderstanding, but her sister doesn't think so. Katie suggests they go to her place, but Brooke wants to be alone. Katie relents, and they express their love and hug. Katie leaves and Brooke flashes back through her romance with Ridge. She sighs and agonizes. In Ridge's bed, he and Taylor have made love. They groan over how good it was. Taylor tells him how long she's wanted this. Ridge wants a future with her and doesn't want to be apart from her anymore. Wherever he is where she wants to be. Ridge says he's right there with her. They kiss, but Ridge gets a faraway look in his eyes when he cuddles Taylor afterward. It's high time that Brooke and Taylor realized Ridge can't decide between them, and they need to separate from this toxic triangle. Once again, Ridge has dumped Brooke for Taylor on the bold and the beautiful. This time, his excuse is that Brooke took the CEO position at Forrester Creations under the new leadership of Carter&Hope. He wouldn't even give her a chance to explain that she planned on stealing the company back for him. And when she finally got the words out, they fell on deaf ears. But this is something that's been going on for decades in a never-ending love triangle. At some point, these women need to wake up and realize that Ridge is only using them whenever it suits him. Ridge can never decide if he wants to be with Brooke or Taylor, and seems to vacillate between the two as it suits his needs. He treats each of them as if they were, in case of emergency, break-glass girlfriends, and when one does something he doesn't like, he moves on to the other one. There have got to be other men in Los Angeles. What is Ridge's appeal? Why is it that these two women have fought over this guy for decades? We got close to the end of this vicious cycle when Brooke and Taylor buried the hatchet in February 2023. They had both realized that fighting over the same man for decades was stupid, and decided to shed their animosity toward one another and became besties for a short time. At that time, Ridge had even gone away for a while to find himself and decide who he wanted to be with. He was shocked when he returned and both women dumped him together. Brooke and Taylor should have more self-respect than to pine away for a guy who can't even decide which one he wants to be with. His attitude is more of a slap in the face than any romance, and both should finally dump him once and for all. Sure, Steffy is happy that her mom and dad are back together, but she can't be objective on the matter. Like New England weather, just wait a while and things will change with Ridge going back to Brooke. Each woman needs to find a new man that will only focus on them individually, not both simultaneously. There have simply got to be other fish in the sea for these two, and the writing needs to be more creative, rather than retreading stories that have been done to death.